In majority of the cases, I do find that the people with a good communication skill, the people who are a good listener, but they are freshers, they do not know anything about the system. Sometimes they are really good working with the customer than compared to somebody like me who know the system in and out. When the customer is talking, when the customer is narrating a requirement, instead of you just simply listening and focusing on the requirement, you tend to start mapping those requirements with a solution. Meaning you jump into the solutioning while you are supposed to listen to the requirement. One thing is you need to make sure is I will keep learning every day. According to me, my best practice is spending 20 minutes every day dedicatedly for learning. Focus on your personal branding, document your learning journey and share your learning journey with others. Be consistent. You will not find the benefits of it today, but once you are consistent for a year, you will start seeing yourself in a different angle.
Here I am, bringing you insightful conversations about modern day career opportunities, perspectives, and powerful stories. Welcome to Career Explore. I am your host, Jay Kishore Bayadi.
Today, we have with us Mr. Mohammad Yasar, who has over 15 plus years of experience in IT and is a Microsoft Most Valued Professional, MVP. Mohammad's or Yasser's experience ranges from business consulting, improvement, re-engineering, integration and automation to ERP implementation across multiple industry verticals such as medical devices, automotive, heavy equipment, fleet, and rental management. Most importantly, he runs a YouTube channel on Dynamics 365 ERP topics, and it is one of the most watched and highly appreciated Dynamics 365 ERP channel out there. So kudos to Yasser for running such a wonderful channel full of insights there. And I'm really grateful to Yasser for agreeing to be my guest. So before we begin our conversation, Yasser, could you give me your background, how your journey in Dynamics 365 space started, etc. But before that, I just wanted to tell you, the viewers, that the topic of today's episode is becoming Dynamics 365 consultant and latest trends and future opportunities in Dynamics 365 ERP area. So coming back to Yasser, so about yourself, your journey, your experience, how it all began. So I'm more than interested to know about all those things.
Okay. Firstly, with respect to your introduction to your audience, hello guys. Becoming a Dynamics consultant is very, very easy. You do not need firstly any coding skills. If you're allergic towards coding and stuff, I believe the functional consulting portion of Dynamics 365 would something which will be very, I might attract you. So you might get some insights from our conversation. So stay tuned. So coming back to your question, yes, I started my career around 15 years back in 2007. That's when I started my journey with one of the MNC company in India. And that's when I got introduced to the world of Dynamics. But when I started, I didn't start as a direct right away as a consultant of Dynamics 365. Firstly, my background is I did a engineering IT degree, which is in BTech IT Information Technology, and I have my master's in industrial engineering. So the nature of the degree itself is a combination of technology related with IT and the business process understanding, which is related with the mechanical engineering. In majorly in the masters for industrial engineering, you learn about the supply chain management, business processes, everyday optimization of various different business processes. In the IT, obviously, we study about all the technical stuff. So naturally, my attracted me towards this ERP related stuff because I know a lot of friends from my master's degree. They were talking about SAP and Oracle and stuff. And those days in the mid 2000s, the SAP and Oracle, the people were going to the SAP training was very popular then compared to the Microsoft Dynamics AX. And luckily, it's a coincidence that when I joined this MNC company for the first time, they offered me a job which involves testing an ERP solution. This is also, there are a lot of people out there do ask questions on, right now I'm a tester. I want to transition my career to something else. What is the career opportunity or pathway I have, right? So this is another classic example of how I myself, being a tester for 2 years, where I was testing this AX 2009 version, then that's how I started, and that's how I got this introduction, and somehow wanted to transition towards a consultant, and I slowly made this transition in 2012, and that's when I started my very first journey on implementation. And by the way, if you're starting, let's say myself, I started as a career as a tester, and that's when you're a tester, you actually have more knowledge with respect to the business scenarios. You do a lot of negative and positive testing, and in fact, you do more of a testing than compared to the actual consultant itself. Sometimes you get more hands-on, and that also made my transition happen very easily. So in 2012, I transitioned, and I went into my first global rollout, and since then until today I've been a part of various different roles within Dynamics 365 practice.
Yeah, that's great. So despite Microsoft Dynamics 365 ERP was still emerging that time, right? AX it was called as.
Yeah.
So, you said about SAP was people doing, but still you went with the Dynamics 365. So
Yeah.
I mean, what is the reason for that?
Okay. The reason in many cases, the career, especially if like you're from India, like me, and the job market is very competitive. The majority of the cases, when you are a fresher and when you are joining a bigger MNC, the choice is not with you. It's with the company, right? So my first project happened to be on Dynamics AX 29. So that's how it was not my choice. It was mostly picked by my employer.
Yeah.
And they selected the pathway.
Yeah, correct. But still, at that point in time, SAP was like in a hotcake, right? I mean, with this knowledge, you could have shifted to SAP, right? Because why I'm asking this typical question is that people used to ask, and even now I ask, now they ask, why can't I go to Salesforce? Why can't I go to SAP? Because they are more hot. They share a more market share. So how do you analyze that? I mean, the opportunity, in terms of career, if someone is deciding to, because they want to invest something, some amount on their learning or those stuff, right? Before that, they want to make sure whether Salesforce is better or a Dynamics 365 is better. Or SAP is better, or this Dynamics 365 ERP is better.
So when I started, as I said, I had limited choice, and that's how I started. And I, for a brief moment, also in 2010, I paused for a while and I jumped into JD Edwards or SAP as well for a brief period. And something was still sitting in my brain. The AX was still calling me back again because I had a good grip on that solutions, and when I moved, I couldn't handle the transition. I was always having the AX 29 in my back of my head, and that's when I again moved. But also the interfaces of Dynamics attracted me more, meaning it looked similar to the Office 365, the Word, the Excels, and the integration with the very well-known Microsoft ecosystem. And the look and feel of it was more appealing to me than compared to a little more boring and uninteresting screens those days of SAP and JD Edwards. Comparatively, the Microsoft attracted me more. I could resonate it with more because I'm every day used to this Office 365 application. That's why I moved back. But to answer to your question today,
mm,
Why do the people wants to, like, let's say for example, come to Dynamics?
mm,
Compare, why not Salesforce? Why not SAP? And like
mm,
all are doing great.
mm,
All ERP is good.
mm,
All ERP has a similar capabilities. It's
mm,
not often the ERP which decides whether the implementation is going good or bad. It's the consultant who is on the project is
mm,
one decides the fate of the implementation, whether it will go good or bad.
mm,
But in general, why I like Dynamics 365 is the ecosystem itself. It has
mm,
so many things to offer. So
mm,
if you are an accountant, if you are having very good finance background, if you want to do a heavy lifting on finance, you have this Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance, where
mm,
you can explore accounts payable, receivable,
mm,
general ledger, cash and bank management. You can deep dive into those areas. Even
mm,
if you are non-technical, you are a functional guy. That's the area you start with, right? You
mm,
are a supply chain guy. You are a good in advanced warehouse management, your inventory management. Then you have this Dynamics 365 supply chain management. You can
mm,
directly go jump into that and start your career up there.
mm,
If you are more of a like a looking for something more simpler, you do not have the finance background, you do not have the supply chain background,
mm,
but you want to learn something very quick and
mm,
also have a high demand, then you
mm,
jump into the CE side. It's
mm,
very easy,
mm,
very elegant, nice system, quick to learn,
mm,
leads, opportunities, sales quotation, not tough to learn,
mm,
very quick start. You jump into that.
mm,
There are also a lot of demand and opportunity.
mm,
Likewise, field service, customer service, etc.
mm,
And you are a mediocre. You are not a heavy lifting train a developer. At the
mm,
same time, you are like very, very much interested in development. You understand the oops concept.
mm,
What do I do? You have a power platform, low code, no code, get started, start building applications.
mm,
Demand is too high.
mm,
Likewise, every single role has an opportunity to get started. So that's why I feel the Dynamics as an ecosystem is better comparatively, because choice is, you have more varieties here.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially, the way you classified the, the kind of people, right? I mean, based on their capabilities or learning ability. So that's really nice. So, now let's say, let's say if someone wants to become a Dynamics 365 functional consultant,
Hmm.
according to you, what are the two main aspects one should have or one should cultivate to become a good consultant in Dynamics 365?
Okay, to become a good consultant in Dynamics 365, the most important skill is, as I said, the product, every ERP will have the similar modules, similar
Mm,
processes. It's about
mm,
the people, it's
mm,
about the mindset, right? The most important thing is the listening skill.
mm, mm,
So, ability to listen to the
mm,
customer's need and
mm,
understand the customer's need,
mm,
and ability to communicate. If at all you want to train yourself, especially to become a functional consultant, the
mm,
major aspect would be your communication command, like the command on your communication. Improve your communication skills. That's the core.
mm,
And then the listening skills, even though you do not have the business understanding or business process understanding when you start with, you are a fresher, let's say for example, you can cultivate that over a period of time while you're working with your mentors or your seniors, right? But
mm,
in majority of the cases, I do find that the people with a good communication skill, the people who are a good listener, but they are freshers, they
mm,
do not know anything about the system, sometimes they are really good working with the customer than compared to somebody like me who
mm,
know the system in and out. The
mm,
reason being, when the customer is talking, when the customer is narrating a requirement,
mm,
instead of you just simply listening and focusing on the requirement,
mm,
you tend to start mapping those requirements with a solution.
mm,
Meaning you jump into the solutioning while you are supposed to listen to the requirement.
mm,
Whereas somebody like a fresher with a good communication skill and a good listening skill
mm,
has nothing to lose, but he will open-mindedly listen to the requirement and try to capture it and document it, right? So
mm,
sometimes they even do better than
mm,
an experienced guy with respect to requirement gathering.
mm,
So for me, the key skill is a listening skill, communication skill, as I said, the empathy towards the
mm,
customer.
mm,
So that is very primary in this particular area.
mm,
And then slowly, of course, the next step would be to whichever project you are getting into, before learning the product, learning the business process. Understanding their business process is the key, because that's the primary driving factor. Let's say I'm from the automotive side of things. Automotive side looks really different from compared to the consumer goods or any other areas. So knowing the ins and outs, these days we have a lot of opportunities to learn. We have this Copilot, we have this chatbots, we have Chat GPT, etc. But before this, it's slightly tough to get knowledge on the business process, right? So somehow get that and then jump to the system understanding. That's the last step, according to me.
Okay. So what is the the Dynamics 365 space, the evolution of Dynamics 365 as a space, right, from a consulting standpoint? So as a consultant, and how do you see the way you consult now and earlier you used to consult, right? I mean, obviously, with the, like you said, with the advent of your Copilot or AI, how different is consulting now compared to 10 years before?
Okay. So, like these days, even the customer demos or talking to the customers, the earlier when I started, I had a mindset of only pitching the solution, right? But now over a period of time, I mean, it's not an evolution of the solution. It's more of change of my mindset. I will come to the evolution of solution part as well. But as a mindset, it's also changing. So these days, I advise others and I also myself is, do not focus on pitching the solution. It's not about pitching the solution. It's about consulting, right? It's about solving a problem for the customer. So I also changed personally from solution pitching to the problem solving, understanding the customer and proposing a solution. The 1 hour the customer books with me needs to be a useful 1 hour, which should give a confidence on me to the customer that I am going to solve their problem and fix their gaps, right? It's more of that to start with. So my mindset is shift comparatively when I started versus now. And with respect to the solution itself, when I started, the solution used to be the Dynamics 365 ERP used to be normally a on-prem deployment. It used to be an on-prem solution. And now since 2015, there have been a lot of changes, or Microsoft is slowly transition. In 2015, the big deal was everything on cloud, the SaaS-based business model, right? So then we transition in 2015-16 from one-time payment. Initially, the customer used to do a bulk investment on the hardware and IT team, and it's like getting married to an ERP product, right? It's like once you commit, you are stuck with it forever.
Yeah.
But then after 2015, the Satya Nadella do introduce a lot of game-changing stuff into the dynamic space. That's when we started transitioning to the cloud-based model, where it's a subscription-based model. Right now, as a product, we are forced to also service the customer, because the customer is basically not married to the product anymore. The customer doesn't like the product. It's not an upfront investment being done by a customer. It's a subscription based. Customer can stop and turn off the switch, the subscription, anytime they like, right? So now it's also like a service provider like us needs to be like continuously evolving and provide better service in order to make sure the customer stays with us forever, right? So that's one thing, that's an advantage for the customer. That kind of the shift is now made. We are now becoming more better in making sure the customer is happy, and the customer is also more confident to get into this kind of a bigger engagement, because it's not a commitment anymore. So, and then later on, after this cloud transition, the next big thing in the part of evolution I did see is the introduction of something called as a common data model. So that at that time was very, very new for me. There is a big story behind this common data models evolution. Is like in the early 90s, I think the United Nations, or I do not know the name of the organization, they want to come with a standard protocol with respect to managing a data. common standard for managing the data, where all the data are defined in a specific database so that anybody can go and connect with those systems so that they all talk in a similar language, right? They want to establish a standardization with respect to storage of the data. They invited all the companies, and then they organized a forum, but that particular conference did not go anywhere. The vision of that organization stopped in the middle 90s, and then the Microsoft realized it. Microsoft partnered with bigger giants like SAP and other organizations, and they tried to create this common data model. I call it as a bunch of tables which talks a common language. I call it as a common data language, which anybody can understand. Every business needs customer, every business needs item, every business needs vendor. These are the common entities put together as a table. If you want to connect a SAP system with Dynamics or Oracle system with Dynamics, SAP also has a customer, Oracle also has a customer as a data. And you exactly know which connection or which table to call if you want to connect the customer with the customer in the common data model, right? So the Microsoft started with this journey as part of evolution. So we were also, as a company, participating in that. It was a very good evolution, according to me, which is common data model, which is also a core component of Dynamics even today, which is what binds the CE world and ERP world together. This is one part which I cannot ignore. And then today, the world of agents and co-pilots. So obviously we know that. So we are moving towards the co-pilot, where we have more than 100 plus co-pilots in the Microsoft ecosystem. If you wanted to, let's say, do some mathematical calculation, or want to get some better insights on your Excel, you really do not know how to play around with the pivot tables, or you do not know how to do the conditional formatting, don't worry. You have the co-pilot within Excel. It will do it for you. Provided you have a messy table, ask the co-pilot will give you a beautiful graph. And you want to create a proposal for one of your customer. You have a little bit of idea about the customer, but you do not know how to create a proposal. Of course, you have a couple of reference templates, but I don't know how to do it, right? No problem. You have a co-pilot in Word that's going to quickly create. Now, how do I convert this Word template into a PowerPoint? No problem. Get into the co-pilot within the PPT. It will convert the Word document into a PPT. So within no time, I did my analysis. I did my proposal. I'm ready with my presentation. I'm now going live with a customer presentation to a customer. So this is how the workflow of a consultant also evolved along with, right? So that's the journey or the evolution I see happening within the Microsoft space.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great thing. The way you described earlier, you are pitching the solution, and now you are actually working with customer together to solve the problem, right? I mean, that's a great insights. The consulting space is also been evolving as the time and technology changes. So wonderful insights, Yasser. So Yasser, continuing our discussion. So let's focus our discussion on on ERP consulting, or because you are a Dynamics 365 ERP person. So basically, if I want to become a Dynamics 365 ERP consultant, what should I follow? Obviously, the certifications, skills, and how to learn, and all those stuff. If you could guide me, that would be really helpful.
Okay. If you are starting as a fresher and want to become a Dynamics 365 consultant, and there are a lot of avenues that you can explore. Firstly, you firstly need to, of course, this is a ERP focused conversation, but in general, within the Dynamics umbrella, firstly, you need to, as we discussed in the early of this conversation, you need to firstly niche down your area, lock down your area, whether you want to become this coding guy, a low code platform guy, or whether you wanted to go with a finance focused guy, or whether you want to go with the supply chain focused guy, or whether you're a CRM guy, or whether you're a field service guy. Because not only just the freshers, but there are a lot of business guys, right, who worked on the field like a field service technician, later on wants to pursue, though they will have to start with what they know better. Like if they as field service technician, it's better for them to get started as a field service consultant rather than them switching, right? So it makes more sense for them to naturally go. If there is an accountant, then it's more relevant is the finance module. So firstly, they need to decide on which is their pathway, right? So then that's first step number one. Once they decided, let's say they decided they want to go either finance or supply chain pathway, that's good. Now the next step is of course understanding the product itself, right? Getting the hands-on experience on the product. And the another thing is understanding various industry nuances, the financial terminologies. If you are a finance guy, you already know it, which is well and good. You have an advantage. If you're a supply chain guy, you are the best. You're a business guy, you know the business process even better than some of the actual consultant themselves. You already have that advantage with you. Now the product is what blocking you. So if it is a CRM or if it is a field service or a power platform, the Microsoft do offers a trial version, provided you have if you are a student, if you have a college account, school account, or if you are from a company, you have a company account, use the account, get the trial version. It's pretty much available for majority of the applications like sales, field service, power platform, even these days, Copilot Studio. You can also get access to them. And likewise, even FNO. FNO is not that straightforward, finance and operation, but still you will be able to, with the proper account, email address, you will be able to get a trial version. And even the Microsoft Learn. Inside Microsoft Learn, it's free. You don't need any account. It's even with your normal account, you can just access the Microsoft Learn. Within the Microsoft Learn, there is also a VM. Not many of them are aware of. There is an inbuilt VM, virtual machine, which actually gives you access to all the modules of FNO. The VM is available only for 2 hours. After that, the data will refresh. But that's more than enough for anybody to click on that particular link, get into the VM and do whatever you want to do. And in 2 hours, it refreshes. Again, new session starts. Continue working on it, right? So it's still a very, very good starting point because you don't need to do any heavy lifting. It's just clicking on a button. It will open a browser with the VM. It's very easy. So now you got the access to a trial version. Now you niched down. Now you decided that you want to go finance pathway. Microsoft Learn is again a free resource, which is totally available. You have lots of YouTube channels, including mine, where you have very, very good contents these days. When I started my journey, there were no contents. And that's the reason why I, in fact, started the journey of sharing the knowledge. But now it's not like that. Even in FNO, Power Platform or CRM, we have a lot of contents. So and also very, very important thing is be a part of the community. There is a user group. Whichever country you're from, every country offers a Dynamics user group. Be a part of that particular user group. Enroll yourself into user group. The user group will run events almost every week. Try to know the people. Do the networking with the other MVPs in the region. Every region will have most valued professional MVP. They are the ones who run those events. They're also community leaders. Connect with them in LinkedIn. Talk to them. Understand the trends. That's also very important. Create visibility for yourself, right? So that's a very, very important component of functional consulting. So that is done. And now comes the learning. You learned, you practiced, you have a good fair amount of understanding about, let's say in this example, finance and operation. Now Microsoft has a certification roadmap. The things starts with a certification which starts with something like a code word PL, PL 200, PL 210, PL 230. These are the certifications respectively for Power Platform, and it's a basic certification for finance and operation. So start with that PL certification, whichever pathway you want to go, PL 200, PL 210, PL 230, whether you want to go CRM, finance or supply chain, right? So once you have the PL, the basic certification, then you jump into a certification which starts with MB, right? So there is a certification with MB 300. So get started with MB 300. It's a basic certification needed for finance and operations. Once you clear that, you will get some confidence. Or you fail it, you know your knowledge gap. Redo your learn again, clear the MB 300. Once you clear the MB 300, then if you are a finance consultant, focus on finance. In the functional consulting, one more very, very important tip is focus on depth first. Firstly, be an expert instead of being a jack and jill of everything. Be an expert in one module. If you are coming from the finance background, focus on finance, drill down the finance module, develop your depth in finance. Once you develop it, then after MB 300, go for MB 310 certification, which is for finance. Likewise, if you're a supply chain, focus on depth, supply chain, go with the MB 330. Production, MB 320. So 310, 320, 330, finance, production, supply chain, right? Even the commerce is another area, retail. If you are from retail, you can focus on that. So once you focus on the depth, you're good. But the problem with the functional consulting is it will make you feel that you're always not good. That's a very common feeling.
Yeah.
Even Jaya, you will have, even I have, right?
Yeah.
So how much ever experience you have, you will always feel like a beginner.
Yes.
That's not the feeling because you are a fresher. That's a feeling even with a 15 plus years of experience. It's a common feeling. That's because Microsoft do introduces new feature, new modules every month, right? So it's very, very tough to be on top of everything, right? So the feeling, you don't need to worry about it. It's a common feeling for everybody. So once you have certain level of confidence and depth, and the part of the feeling is also because of the fact that you are focusing on the depth, meaning you're focusing on being a finance consultant. But the problem is every finance has its impact on the supply chain. Every supply chain angle has its impact on the finance as well, because both of these modules are interlinked with each other, right? So once you gain the depth, start working on the breadth, meaning once you vertically grow, start working on the horizontal growth. So if you are a finance consultant, start understanding about supply chain. If you are a supply chain consultant, start understanding about finance. It's vice versa. Do not see and keep yourself locked down. So when you do that, then you gain more confidence. So that's when your confidence will boost. And slowly, once you become this, then Power Platform is unavoidable these days. Even if these days, if you see the job description, the company wants you to be very good in finance. Company wants you to have a good supply chain knowledge. And it's also good to understand the Power Automate. Good to know the landscape of the CDS connectors and stuff like that. Good to know about this, that. They are actually asking for a whole IT company as such, not an individual, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
So that's why you cannot know everything, but you will have to have that horizontal knowledge. So that's the last step, and that step will slowly transition. When you start as a trainee, then you get into a functional consultant, and then you do a MB 300 certification, then you do a 330, then you become a senior functional consultant, and now you know the other modules other than finance. Supply chain guys know other modules other than supply chain. That's when you become a functional solution architect. Slowly you're just transitioning yourself, right? So that needs to be your roadmap, your learning goals when it comes to approaching functional consultancy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a wonderful explanation you have given. See, I mean, when even if you are a functional consultant, right? Do you think what is the level of understanding of coding or customization or extension knowledge you need to have?
Okay,
Because
so this is yeah.
because the people ask, do you know .NET? Do you know how to create a Power Automate flow? So as a functional consultant, don't you think we are more focused on business processes, all those stuff, and how we can deliver the solution to those the business problems, right? And we work with the developers basically, or developers or technical consultants to materialize those designs or whatever solutions. So what is the level of the technical knowledge or awareness a functional consultant should have, as per you?
Okay. That's a good question. It also depends on where you're coming from, right? Like, for example, you are having you're transitioning from a Java or a .NET developer into this area, or you are a developer and then you're transitioning into a functional consultant,
Mm,
right? In such cases, you already have those technical background. It
mm,
will be easier for you to like become a technical solution architect. You will have gaps on the business process knowledge understanding, which is also a big deal, and you will
mm,
eventually learn it and you will become a proper technical solution architect.
mm,
Whereas in a case of a functional consultant, you really lack, you do not understand the coding or .NET or Java or anything, right? Even
mm,
X++ for that
mm,
matter.
mm,
So the easiest thing is, as I said, focus on the depth, focus on the business process. That is the key for you. That itself is a big area. There's so much of learning.
mm,
And one of the very key mantra of the functional consultant is the consistency,
mm,
the learning. So the consistency of learning is the key. Meaning, uh, before you come into this profile, the career as a functional consultant, one thing is you need to make sure is I will keep learning every day. According to me, my best practice is spending 20 minutes every
mm,
day
mm,
dedicatedly for learning.
mm,
I know I'm deviating out of topic, but I'll come back to the topic.
mm,
So dedicatedly um, spend 20 minutes on learning per day.
mm,
So like they say, like there is a saying like, you go to the gym for 9 hours in one day, you cannot grow your body or get six packs.
mm,
Rather go to gym for 10 minutes for 9 months instead, then you will start seeing developments in your body. So
mm,
the same concept, spend 20 minutes in learning dedicatedly every day per week, which is translated to around like um, several hours, like 60 hours, or like then per year it's translated to several hundred, maybe 100 hours, right? So this is one mantra, that once you gain that depth, then you work on the technical part, right? The theoretical technical part, you won't understand how the dynamics integrates. Let's say, for example, with SAP, you need to understand how those integration framework works. What are the different strategies we might need to understand that. You may need to understand the low code areas, the Power Automates, the Power Platform, how does it integrates and stuff like that. I believe once eventually you start focusing on learning those areas rather than focusing on any kind of coding, this is what the skills that will help you to become a techno functional guy rather than anything on X++. I think there are specialists for that.
mm,
So do not get deviated out. So
mm,
specifically focus on theoretical areas.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a great advice. So, what is your strategy? I mean, like you said, Microsoft keeps rolling out, the enhancements every month. So, what is how you keep up, keep up a knowledge of, the latest updates of Dynamics 365? Any tips for this consultant?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. It's a bit tough because Microsoft keeps changing stuff. There are so many announcements, and getting up to the speed on all those changes is a very, very big deal, and even tough when we are in a project. And like as I said, the 20 minutes of learning again, it's very important. And another thing is, as already said, we may need to make sure we are very well connected with the community and the user group, whoever is in your region,
Mm,
and follow them in LinkedIn. What I do normally is to connect with all the MVPs in the region and connect with all the user group leaders in the region and follow them in the LinkedIn, follow them everywhere, and also follow all the major Dynamics 365 channels. And that's how I learn, and that's how I get the updates. And moreover, there are a lot of noise, right? There's so many distractions here.
mm,
Bookmarking only certain specific articles and materials which you feel is very, very relevant to you is also very, very useful, and making
mm,
sure turning on the notification on those areas,
mm,
and like filtering down on what is
mm,
more relevant to you, what is more not relevant to you, keeping them away,
mm,
bookmarking them, and following few selected community leaders together is
Mm.
what makes it happen. So that's what I follow.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. See, the it is just reading is also not enough, right? I mean, you need to go and check it yourself. I mean, if it is available in your region, right? I mean, it will be really helpful. So, like you said, that the quality 20 minutes, is important, and also filtering out unwanted stuff is really, really, difficult, but still it is important. I mean,
It's a key.
yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I have started now. I mean, sometimes, I have, sometimes unfollowed some of the, MVPs, even though they are sharing very good information, but they are
Mm.
simply not relevant to me, or, I'm not consulting on, because it is becoming overwhelming for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that is very good key point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, moving on to our next topic, latest trends in Dynamics 365 area as a whole. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, in Dynamics 365 ERP, right? ERP area. So, what are the top three trends you are seeing right now? I mean, when compared to its competitor products as well, or if you are following them as well.
Mm.
Because why I'm asking this question is that, when you go to customers, right? Uh, we will explain about certain feature in Dynamics 365. So, suddenly a customer asks, doesn't it, I mean, SAP is giving this, SAP is giving this, or, some other this is giving. So basically, if you know what your competitors are giving, right? I mean, how you can, if you know how to compare, the Dynamics 365, let's say Dynamics 365 and SAP, then
Mm.
you can add more value to the customer, right? To make a decision to purchase Dynamics 365. I mean,
Mm.
so what is your take on that?
Okay. So in comparison with competition, Microsoft is miles ahead when it comes to AI. We
Mhm.
all know about
Mm.
this, like in comparison, whether with even not only SAP, but with Google or any other major player,
Mhm.
Fortune 100 companies, I believe Microsoft is fairly doing good in that space,
Mm.
AI, right? So, but to answer to the question, in comparison with any other ERP, the Microsoft landscape, the ecosystem, Dynamics ecosystem is like a Lego bricks,
Mm.
builds on top of each other. Let's say a customer is having a gap on a specific area of the system. The gap need not necessarily be a customization. You do not need to spend tons and tons of money on time in doing an X++ coding or changing the code or things. You can always follow this low code approach and fill those gaps these days, right?
Mm.
So the one term that I normally call becomes very popular here among us, my customers, the appification part, meaning
Mm.
the Dynamics offers the appification of an ERP. Let's say
Mm.
an ERP, there is a specific process, but
Mm.
that process is used only by certain roles in the organization. That role necessarily need not access the massive SAP, Oracle, or Dynamics itself, right? They
Mm.
can still reside on a appified version of that business process in a power platform, in a mobile. So
Mm.
they can access it. They will still have access to the ERP indirectly through a mobile, right?
Mm.
This way of appifying your,
Mm.
like, Uber kind of an experience in a ERP, providing them. These days, people want Uber kind of an experience everywhere, right?
Mm.
So it's not possible in a ERP world where there is a general ledger book, the finance and everything. The system is massive. It's
Mm.
meant to be massive and complex, but you can still simplify a specific area and make it as a mobile
Mm.
app. That
Mm.
capability is here. And the another area which I feel Microsoft is totally different from other competitors, far ahead, is, as I said, the capabilities of AI,
Mm.
the collaboration it happens with has with open AI.
Mm.
And every single product sets they offer do have the infused, or they're infused or integrated with AI. There are around 150 co-pilots close to in
Mm.
Microsoft ecosystem. Again, it's a problem because
Mm.
every co-pilot behaves different to your prompt. Every copilot is meant for a different purpose. Same prompt gives different answer. Recently, I believe Satya has made a really announcement which says UI for AI, right? So right now, this could be a kind of a solution for that problem where one UI is going to like manage all the prompts for you, like building one specific UI. It takes care of all your data, as you mentioned before, in OneDrive, SharePoint, in all spaces. You don't need to worry about which copilot to ask which question anymore. The UI for AI hopefully resolves that, right? So that is a future trend of Microsoft Dynamics that I'm seeing while we are talking, that's evolving. The another future trend of Microsoft Dynamics, which none of our competitors anywhere closer. Maybe Salesforce have made similar announcement recently. Other than that, I haven't heard of any similar announcement, which is the concept of an agent coming into an ERP product, right? So which means that, let's say, you can have your own mini version of yourself. I mean, even today we do have it through chat. We can create every single chat on a project. You can in a different threads that will maintain the context of that particular project and keep answering. That's my best practice I follow. By the way, every single thread or chat has a specific dedicatedly built for a project. So whenever I have a question, I'll go to that chat and ask the question, right? So it's still available, but we are taking the game to the next level now, which is an agent. So which means that you are working for 40 hours a week, let's say today, and tomorrow you can just work for like 10 hours or 20 hours, and remaining 20 hours you can even focus on what is more relevant to you on your self learning. Because let's say you're working on 4 proposals today, responding to a proposal, right? Out of which 2 proposals which are lesser significant to you can be allocated to an agent, which is available within Dynamics these days, right? So that particular agent is going to work on those proposal, respond to the proposal, because you are going to add all the knowledge that you have on that proposal as a document inside the Copilot Studio, and that particular agent which you are assigning the proposal to, you're going to respond to the proposal and ask any relevant question through that interface that you have in the chatbot, UI for AI that I mentioned before. You can give your inputs, it will work on it. So 20% of effort will be taken care by the agent. Remaining 20% right now, you will focus on something more important as a proposal which requires dedicatedly your brain 24/7. You're working on it. So even though you're working for 40 hours on something else, someone else is working for 20 hours on your behalf. So you are maximizing your productivity from 40 hours to 80 hours moving forward, even 100 hours in the future, right? So that is the future of development which is happening within the dynamic space, which I believe none of our competitors are anywhere closer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great, especially the agent feature could be a game changer. And I don't know whether it will be a kind of a threat or we'll have to see. The time has to tell that. So, I mean, it's a wonderful insights, Yasar. So if I ask, I became a Dynamics 365. I mean, I decided to become a Dynamics 365 consultant. Okay, it could be CRM, Power Apps, or your ERP, anything. So, what is that 1 or 2 pieces of advice you want to give them?
Okay, only one advice, very important, and this will be a game changer for them. So the advice is focus on personal branding. That is going to be the game changer for you. Focusing on a resume, focusing on having something like your 10th, 12th marks on your resume, your college degree. Of course, college degree is important, but your college grade in your resume. So all that is not that relevant or important anymore. Focus on your personal branding. Create a brand for yourself. Make your resume a multimedia resume. How do I create a personal brand? You don't need to be an expert to create a personal brand. You can still be a learner. You can still be a beginner. You can still document your personal journey in a form of a blog if you are shy with the camera, or you can document it in front of a camera if you are okay with it. But whatever it is, document your learning journey and share your learning journey with others and create a personal branding for yourself. Trust me, Of course, as I said before, the consistency is a key. The people
Mm.
do follow this advice. They start a personal brand. Starting a brand is just a 10 minutes job, but be consistent, start posting whatever means you post, but be regular in it. You will not find the benefits of it today, but once you are consistent for a year, you will start seeing yourself in a different angle. Like you will be a hero
Mm.
for few, an inspiration for few. So the only piece of advice is focus on personal branding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a wonderful advice. And so basically, to become a great consultant, that visibility, that hold on the subject, right? When you share it with others, right? So when you go in front of the customer, automatically, if you have a personal branding, if you have that visibility, right? Automatically, that trust factor comes in, and
Yeah,
it will become very easy to work with customers, and also maybe in job, excelling in job. So in all ways, I mean, it's really really great, and it's the new reality of the evolving world. I would say. I mean,
yeah,
the creating a personal brand. So if you want to success, you have to be visible, right? So I mean,
exactly.
it's a great piece of advice. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So I think we have covered a good amount of the time on the various aspects. I mean, your journey in Dynamics 365 and how to become a functional consultant, and also Dynamics 365 consultants in various areas, and also the latest trends and in Dynamics 365, and tips and tricks for Dynamics 365 functional consultants, and also your learning based on your experience. I mean, it's a wonderful, I think, a session today, and I think people will definitely benefit from this episode. Whoever watching, aspiring Dynamics 365 consultants and also practicing consultants, especially from a content creator and knowledgeable person like you. And I would like to thank you so much for being my guest. Yeah, I mean, I wish you all the best in
Yeah,
your
thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank you
sure.
so much. It was wonderful, wonderful talking to you, and thank you so much for patiently listening to me. I should say you're a great listener, and thank you for all your wonderful questions and your time. Hoping to collaborate with you again. Hopefully, next time we'll deep dive into some of your other questions related with the ERP. Hopefully,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Sure.
you.